In question 4, Don says, let's take then, since we are on the subject of sex, the relationship before and after the veil of disease. In this particular case, venereal disease. Was this type of disease in existence prior to the veil? Ross says, there has been that which is called disease, both of this type and others, before and after this great experiment. However, since the venereal disease is in large part a function of the thought forms of a distorted nature which are associated with sexual energy blockage, the venereal disease is almost entirely the product of mind-body-spirit complexes interaction after the veiling. This is a very, very, very crucial and the beginnings of a controversial topic, which is, what is disease? And should we be concerned with disease? Again, it's a sensitive topic, especially nowadays where everybody is concerned about their health. But it's one that can, if you're following this path, of course, if you're watching this video, you're quite interested in the metaphysics behind this. Disease is created in the mind, of course. And this sort of solves a lot of the mysteries that we have, because our model says that you are naturally a healthy person. Well, that's not fully true, but in general, if you're healthy, you're healthy. And then there are external things that are causing you to be diseased, to be ill, and to be affected by bacteria, viruses, and fungi, all kinds of alive things that want to feed from you. Well, this is actually like I said, a very complex topic, but I think I can get away with saying that it is not only the function of a virus or a bacteria or fungi, and you are just a victim. You see, you have to have the environment. And I think this has been recognized more and more lately, thanks to our previous pandemic, where everybody got interested and more doctors started talking about not only the establishment, but more of what it really is. And so we have been talking about this environment that we have in our bodies, and we are prone to certain disease. That environment is, of course, created by the mind, and that's why we have, especially talking about venereal disease, people who have the virus of HIV, and they don't suffer it. They have no issues. Or people who go into infected areas and they serve their nurses and doctors, and they're fine because their environment is not welcome in this disease. You know, it's the people who are sick who get this. This is also associated to when people are in harmony with themselves, they don't get sick. Normally, you see, everybody can get sick, and that's fine. Doesn't mean that you're failing, you're sinning. You may have some propensities. For example, in my case, somehow I developed asthma when I was 9 months old. You can say that was a pre-incarnative decision, or you can say that was something from a previous incarnation, which I brought here and I need to heal. I don't know. I just don't know. I just know that I have that propensity. And when I was a child, I suffered more than what now I can possibly get when allergies kick in, as just recently. So there are so many things that can come into play. But in general, there is the thought forms. That's the key part. See, because Ra is saying here, there has been that which is called disease, both of this type, venereal, and others. So yes, disease was always a thing before and after the veil. They call it this great experiment, which I agree, it's great. Ra says, since venereal disease is in large part a function of the thought forms of a distorted nature which are associated with sexual energy blockage, The venereal disease is almost entirely the product of mind-body-spirit complexes interaction after the veiling. So the venereal disease is mostly a manifestation of our sexual blockages, sexual energy blockages. And they talked about these blockages before, which is the fear of being possessed, or the desire to possess, or the fear, I forget it always confuses me the way they said it. The desire to possess, or the desire to be possessed, the fear to possess, or the fear to be possessed. Yeah, those are the main blockages that happen. And they come in all kinds of forms. So all of us have a story in our minds that can create blockages. These are just some of the blockages I see, because others can be, which I have experienced, is that sex is a sort of perversion, or something that is not, because it's not well seen by everybody. We don't talk about it. We keep it hidden. Nobody wants. It's dirty. It's something that, and even the methods in which I kind of agree with something that Scott Mandelker said here, and it stuck with me, that the way we prevent this venereal disease is by the use of condoms, which, again, see, I told you this was going to be controversial, but like he said, it is a way to degrade the act of sex. It is, I'm going to get intimate with you, but I'm going to put this around me so I don't touch you, So it becomes this thing that I want to do, but it's just so filthy that I need to be isolated from you. Yes, I know there is a use for contraception there, but we're talking about venereal disease here. So yeah, there's a lot to be talked about there. Like, why do you want to be with a person that you don't trust? That's the first question. If you don't trust each other, if there's things hiding, then why? You see. So yeah, it's really interesting. There's so much, again, we can talk about here. Here's another one. I don't know what the statistics are now, but I'm pretty sure it's the same or more. But 50% or more of people on Earth who have engaged in sexual activity, and even possibly not even, I don't know how the transmission is. Is it the HPV? I forget the HPV. Is it? Let me just make sure that it is, so I don't speak nonsense. Is the the human papilloma virus. I know it is Spanish, so I always get it. I mix them. Not only that, but yeah. Anyhow, so this is an STD or an STI, and half of the people who have sex have it. You see, so are we all infected? Yes. But do we manifest it? No. Because viruses are dormant. They're just there. They're just part of, the database. And they can act and manifest and create this disease or not. And they can become cancerous, of course. Everything can. So it's not a matter of infection. You are infected of all kinds of viruses. Ask the Indians, if you can find one, because when the Europeans came here, they were totally healthy, and all they did was just share their DNA database with the others, and that wasn't through sex, it was just through breathing and everything. They mixed the virus makeup of Europe here, and it blasted the majority of people. Think that it was the conquistadors that came here and killed all the Indians. No, it was disease. That's what wiped the Indians here. So you see, there is there is this infection, but it's the thought forms that create that sort of disease in the body. I'm not surprised that at the moment that the Europeans came over and sharing this new sort of virus that they didn't have, well, the Indians here, or the Indian tribes, they weren't too pacific or peaceful. They were increasingly becoming dystopic, I would say. Like, just human sacrifice was a thing going on left and right. It was just crazy. So yeah, you can imagine that in such a society and with the distribution of viruses, then that's what you get. You get catalysts, my friend. So it's okay. In any case, why did I deviate so much? Where am I? Okay, so since the venereal disease is in large part a function of the thought forms of a distorted nature, which are associated with sexual energy blockage, then the disease is almost entirely a product of us, post-veil. So, yeah, give it a good think. It's interesting that that's what's causing the disease. It's us. We are always the cause of it. So might as well own to it. And yes, I don't want to ignore the fact that there is, I've said it a couple of times, but I'll just reinforce it. Yes, there is transmission, just like there is transmission of thoughts. You see, here's the best example. If I tell you you're an idiot, okay, that's me. I'm the virus right here. You're an idiot. And that goes into you. See, you're infected with the thought, I am an idiot because Gabe said it. Okay, but what are you going to do with that? See, or how, it's not you. How is that processed through your mind? Probably laughing at this point, smiling, or maybe you're upset. Who knows? That depends on you. So in the same way, that's how this develops.